One great thing that I would say anyone should do when they're on the podcast or on the treadmill is listen to All Roads Lead to the Gym. Pulled up on the guy. Makes it sound like brace yourself, fool.
Anything's possible.
Well, people will actually listen and care. But
I would like a sponsorship. Free socks or something.
yeah, until then,
I'll buy my own socks.
Nike, Krispy Kreme donuts.
Yeah.
also known as my name is Jeff. All right, everybody, this is Chad Indy Fitness, All Roads Lead to the Gym, podcast number 11 today with Nakota. Did I say that right?
That's right, yeah, Nakota.
Okay, and we have a special guest host today, Haley. You might remember from our last episode. And then, of course, my man, Nicholas Otto
Always
Assad.
here. I'm always here.
Better known as Otto. So today we're going to talk to Nakota about her fitness journey and just getting started. She's been a member here for maybe a little over a month. We're going to talk how we got there. I was told today that people see this stuff on the table and they don't know what it is. So I was just going to kind of go through that a little bit. First thing we'll start with is the belt over here, the championship belt. We have a thing, the 1,000-pound club, every 3 months, where we just have our members come in if they want to and see if they can get in either the 1,000, 700, or 500-pound club for females. It's your 1 rep max of squat, bench, and deadlift. If it equals 1,000 pounds, you get your name on the wall. It's for pride and very little of that. There's no entry fee. The only rules are the rules that I tell you at the beginning. I'm the only judge. And so I want people to succeed, not fail. So we do everything we can to make sure that you succeed.
When's the next one?
The next one is November
9th, I think.
Yeah. November 9th at 5 p.m. So if you're a member or you just want to come out and watch, we open the doors and people can come in and watch. It's not the most spectacular, most organized thing you'll ever see, but it's never been meant to be that. It's meant to just let our members show their hard work and little pride. And then at the end of the night, the one who has the highest total, when we take a photo, they put this belt on that I had a local leathersmith. Is that what they call him? Leathersmith? Mm-hmm. Leatherworks guy.
Leatherman.
Leather.
Anyway,
Sounds
he made
creepy.
that for us. And be honest with you, most of the time it's worn by Hagen Henderson if he shows up because he's
The whole thing's pretty cool, though, to watch, honestly.
Well, and you guys
some
are
of them
both
popping.
Yeah, some of them are bigger than others. When Haley did it, there were only
Me, you, and 2 other people.
and I had no intention of even doing it that day. It was Wade, our old man, Wade, our good boo man. I haven't heard from him recently. Have you heard from him? So Wade and one of his friends from his church, and they were raising money for kids, like so much a pound for their youth group at their church. And so Wade asked me to jump in, and I was like, man, I don't even have my knee sleeves here or nothing. So I called my wife, and I met her like halfway here and got my knee sleeves and came back and put them on real quick, and we did it. And I was just about 6 months out of my shoulder surgery at that point too, but I still got in there and did it and did pretty well. Haley, she had her family here. Her husband was here watching her. She got in the 500-pound club. How much?
500.
Do you remember
yeah.
what your total was?
It was like 540 or 560 or something. I sucked at bench, so.
Hey, that's a female
I still
thing.
got in, but, you know.
That's a female thing. Do you remember you were in 1,200 something?
I have no idea.
It would be a lot more now.
Yeah, it's been like a year.
Yeah, it'd be a lot more now. Otto's continually got strong, and I think you're planning on trying it sometime.
I think I'll go ahead and just do it.
I think
just to see where I'm at, you
Yeah,
know, just
yeah.
as kind of a starting point. Because
It's a good idea.
I've been kind of doing it and just, you know, here and there, but I haven't been like fully training. But
Yeah, it's one of those things like, and people come up to me and say, well, why can't guys get in? Why do we have to have a, well, if it's just a generic thing, then why even do it? You know, it's It's not extremely difficult. I think most people, if they worked for it, could get there. If you guys hear banging around, we're in the gym, so I heard somebody out there hitting deadlift right now. I heard it banging off the floor. So you hear weights banging around, that's what it is. The next thing I'll talk about is the 50-pound dumbbell. Back in May, I turned 50. I'm a really hard person to buy something for because if I want something, I just go get it. And I really don't, there's not a lot in this world that I want. Peace on earth. And I really just want good friends and, you know, a good conversation, someone telling me happy birthday or something like that means a card or a handwritten note or something. Even a text message means more to me than anything you could buy me. So that was kind of sentimental to me. They bought a 50-pound dumbbell. Everybody signed it, and I didn't know what to do with it. So it's now a decoration for the podcast. Right here in the middle, my favorite piece of equipment, my favorite thing that I own. Possessions don't mean that much to me, but this is a helmet signed by Robert O'Neill, who was the Navy SEAL that killed Osama bin Laden. It's not the helmet he was wearing, but it is a Navy SEAL style helmet, and it's signed by the operator, Robert O'Neill. Pretty cool piece there. We bought it at a charity auction for a bunch. I had a set amount that I would pay. Otto, TJ, Devin, Shane. I feel like I'm leaving some people out, but a bunch of people just kicked in some money, and we ended up getting it for about $2,000. And we want people to be able to see it and appreciate it. But the money went to a good cause. It was for a deputy who had been in a very bad wreck and didn't know how he was going to come out, and his family really needed the help. Anyway, I'd like to report that he's been back to work the last week.
Oh, awesome.
He's on light duty, but he's back to work.
That's great.
Yeah, and it's been, I don't know, maybe 6-8 months, something like that, since it happened. It's not been a really long time. So
6 months, maybe.
Yeah, so anyway, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it today with Nakota. Nakota, I don't know much about you, and we haven't talked about your story at all.
Yeah, I feel kind of at a disadvantage because everybody you have on here is like your friend, and I'm like, I'll go on, but you guys don't know me yet. So.
You know, that's not necessarily true. Like, I mean, I know Matt Foreman, where I consider him to be a good acquaintance and would love for him to be my friend, but I really just don't know him that well. I didn't. When he was telling his story, man, I was in awe because I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know any of that stuff. I knew that he had been a corpsman in the Navy, and if you go back and listen to that again, you can hear me like misunderstanding what he was trying to say, and I was trying to get to the part, the later parts, and skip over some of the earlier parts because we were kind of pressed for time that day. It was my granddaughter's birthday, and I was trying to get out of here, and my sister had just passed at that point, I think.
Yeah.
And so there was a lot going on in my life, and I was actually trying to rush him, and I feel kind of bad for that. In fact, he was supposed to be on again today. Nakota was supposed to be next week, but we had a
unexpected.
Yeah,
event.
one of our guests ended up getting the Rona, so we had to fast forward and asked Nakota to come in a week early. So I didn't really have time to prepare for her to come in and talk to her, but. We're just going to see where this takes us. And so if you want to just kind of like tell us where you grew up, how you grew up.
Okay. So I am from Baxter Springs, Kansas. I lived there up until about 2 years ago. So born and raised Baxter Springs. My family moved here so that we could put our kids in the Bible school uptown. And that has been a really big blessing to us. But I was really athletic growing up, and as I became an adult, I got really lazy and I just fell out of like working out and stuff. And then after I had my son who's 6, I kind of got back into the gym and was doing really good for a couple months, and I fell out, and I have not even been to a gym since about then. But I grew up in a family where my parents were together for my early childhood. They divorced when I was like 6, and then they got back together like 7 years later and were together forever. and then divorced again. So it was really confusing growing up too. Like, it was just, I love my family, and they are both great parents. They just didn't do a great job together. And so I appreciate them and realizing that at one point, and just, taking that step to be better parents apart.
I think a lot of times that people, and this isn't a marriage counseling day, but
Yeah.
a lot of times you see a bad situation and parents will stay together for the children, and everyone's miserable. The kids
Yeah.
are miserable,
It
the
can be
parents are
detrimental for
miserable.
sure.
Yeah, it's not always the best idea. I'm not certainly not a psychologist or
Right.
counselor, but sometimes you just see that staying together is not always the best option for your children. So
Yeah.
it's cool if they recognize that twice.
Yeah. Twice. Yeah. So, I mean, ultimately, I had a good childhood. My parents were both really good to all of us kids, and they did a good job raising us, I would say. So, I excelled in school mostly until I got to high school, and then I just kind of started going out with older people, and ended up pregnant at 16, which was,
Heavy.
not
That's heavy.
not my first choice, but it happened, and I had to grow up really quickly, and I chose to grow up really quickly, and I love my daughter so much, and she probably saved me from even more heartache than
And she's a cool kid too. I don't
She
never really
is.
talk to her, but man, she's a good kid.
she is.
Yeah,
she's got-
she kind of takes care of the other two while you're working out, and
Yeah,
a little bit.
Yeah, she mothers them a lot. She might be a little harder on them than I am sometimes, but I guess that's just the oldest daughter syndrome.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
So you were athletic when you were younger, always doing what, softball, volleyball?
Yeah,
What was it?
softball, volleyball, basketball. In third grade, I actually played tackle football. I was not good. I did not actually play. My older sister actually started on offensive line, so
That's
that's kind of
cool.
funny. So she was like 4th through 6th grade, started on offensive line, and then chose to play volleyball instead of football come junior high.
So
I don't blame her.
the reason that I kind of asked you to come on here was a few weeks ago on the podcast. We were talking about, I think it was the day that it was me, you, and Marco, and we said that the New Year's resolutioners will be coming in soon.
Yeah.
And over the years here at the gym, we have watched so many people come in excited and motivated. And you talked about motivation in your episode, Haley, where they're really fired up and ready to go. And life happens. And sometimes it's they work out too hard in the
Yeah.
beginning, and they get sore. Like, I don't know about you, but I crave the soreness. now.
Yeah, that's why I try and do different stuff all the time.
Yeah.
I try to get sore, and but they get too sore, and they don't come
Scares
back.
them off.
They're like, man, I can't be like this. And they might even make it a good month or month and a half, 2 months, and then you just don't see them anymore. And then a little while later, they kind of cancel their membership, and you don't see them anymore. The gym's doing fine. I'm not worried about the money. It's not. It just has nothing to do with retaining members. This has to do with people changing their life.
Yeah.
And we, on that episode with me, you, and Marco, we talked about getting a hold of someone who was just getting started
Yeah.
and have them come in here and kind of tell us their why, because this is all roads lead to the gym.
Yeah.
And there's a road that brought you to the gym.
Yeah. So, like I said, being athletic and then kind of letting yourself go is, it's a hard experience because you still like see yourself as an athlete, but like nobody else does. And so, it's been really humbling to get back in the gym, but it's been very rewarding. So, one of the reasons that I hadn't been in the gym for so long was I was in an unhealthy marriage and recently removed myself from that situation. But in that marriage, I was not really allowed to do certain things that would help me be a better person or, to look better or whatever. There was just a lot of control issues. And I don't want to go like too far into that situation because this is not therapy. I have a therapist for that. But
Me too.
You say what you want, girl.
but no, but and like I don't want to drag this person because there's just
That
no reason
it's
for
over,
it. Yeah.
right? It's
yeah,
over.
yeah. And so, but that just being out of that and knowing like, oh, hey, I can do this now. Like I can do this. And that's really like what got me here. So I got a membership on like a Friday afternoon or Friday evening or something, and was here like the next morning. And
Do you
been here.
remember, like, was there build up leading up to getting the membership, or you thought about it?
I think that I thought for a long time about getting a membership, and I've wanted to for a long time. But in the past, like I also haven't stuck with it, and so I just was kind of weary, or I didn't know if I wanted to as bad as I actually like figured out that I wanted to.
What is your schedule like? Like, what do you do for work, and like, what does your day look like before the gym?
So typically, I work 5 a.m. to about 2 p.m. Before I started coming to the gym. That was about what I worked Monday through Friday. And then I also run like a micro bakery here in town, and I just make sourdough. And I'd been baking on like prepping Thursday nights. So I get home from work at 2, start prep at 3, and then prep like into the evening. And then the next day on Fridays, I would work like 5 to noon or however early they could get me off. And then I would bake until I was done. Sometimes that was 2 o'clock in the morning. There was one week where my kids had like a school event, and I was up literally all night baking. And then I did the farmer's market on Saturdays, all through the summer. So just adding the gym to that seemed at the time overwhelming too, because I have, so much going on. Like I've got 3 kids, and I've got this and I've got that, but
it's doable.
It's doable, and it's, for me right now, it's necessary because it's really the only time that I get for myself, like to make myself better. And to, like I can get in there and I can like pick up heavy things, and I can clear my mind, and I can just, just focus on me for an hour and a half to 2 hours. And that's just like, that's been like totally, it's changed like everything that I do. And so,
sounds familiar.
When you're a mom, like you're sacrificing like either yourself when you're staying home to do laundry or do things like around the house, or when you're here at the gym, like you just sacrifice either yourself or the things at the home. Like there's always a sacrifice, and you have to choose the one that's best for you.
Yeah.
I've told this before, but that very much reminds me of when I weighed 300 pounds and the doctor had given me this long laundry list of problems that I had, and I made the decision right there to not take all the medication that he was trying to prescribe to me. And in the past, man, I always felt bad for my family. They didn't do it on purpose, but if I would be dieting, they'd be like, hey, we're going to get pizza tonight. And I was like, don't order any for me. And then they would say, well, then none of us are getting pizza. None of us are, because we don't want, and they're just trying to be supportive.
Yeah.
But they didn't have the same problems that I had. So it always, like made me feel bad. And it's an excuse, but I would be like, no, just go ahead and order pizza. I'll eat one piece, or or they would make some dessert and be like, just have one piece, it won't hurt you. And I'm like, I really don't want any. And I would finally give in. So when I finally decided that day that this is what I'm going to do, and this is in 2016, there's been no looking back, I had my 2 kids that were still at home and my wife, and I set them down and I said, all right, this is what I'm going to do. And what I need from you is for you to not change your life.
Yeah.
Don't change. But if I can't get better, then I'm not going to be here to take care of you guys, because I'll be dead. The doctor told me that I'll never forget the year of helicopter ride waiting to happen. And so that was kind of like, hey, we better change things. But I mean, does that kind of make sense to you? Like you feel bad for other people in your family or your kids or whatever?
Yes and no. I don't really feel bad for them. I am actually really glad that they kind of see me making changes, because for so long I was just completely unhealthy, and I think that I wasn't setting a good example, And so I don't pass up the pizza still. I don't change if they're eating something, like I'll eat what they're eating. I'm not like, hardcore on that. I just, because I can't
either.
do that. I just can't, it's not sustainable for me. And so for me to, pass up pizza could be binge eating a bag of chips later on, and so I'd rather just have a piece of pizza with my kids than to skip out on the pizza, make them feel weird about it, and then eat something worse later in the evening, and so like that's something I'm definitely working on. But
well, for me, what works for me is a very low carb diet, and so because I'm very carb sensitive,
And that doesn't work for me. So, I mean,
Yeah.
you got to find the thing that works
Yeah.
best
That
for
works
you
for
that
you.
you'll be able to stick to.
Mm-hmm.
What's
Yeah.
important is you're active.
Yeah. And I would say I was sedentary before I joined the gym. Like even in the last 2 months, I was like, yes, I was going to work and then, doing whatever, but I wasn't I would go home and sit. I would go home and do,
Yeah.
nothing. And other than just like, chores like housework and stuff, everybody does that. But no, I wasn't.
do you remember the date or about when it was you came in here? Have you a couple months?
The first day I came in was August 24th. I remember because it was actually the Saturday after my 29th birthday.
So we're like a month and a half in
Yeah,
to this.
just about.
How do you feel?
Oh, I feel so much better. I stopped obsessing over the scale, which has helped me because, and I did weigh myself like recently, and I'd only lost like, I don't know, 10 pounds, which is good.
Only.
That's well, okay, but
Significant, yeah.
it is, but when you have a lot to lose, it doesn't feel like as much.
I get you.
And so, even though like I feel like that's not like as much as I could have lost, I feel like not obsessing over that has allowed me to continue and not be discouraged in doing that. Like physically though, like I feel a lot better. Every time I come in here, I feel like I'm able to like lift just a little bit heavier that day, and it's been really rewarding, not just physically but mentally. My mental health is in a lot better place than it was, and it's just been a lot healthier way to cope than what maybe I would have done in the past.
So I just want to talk a little bit about our gym, and we've talked on here many times about people feeling judged in the gym when they first come in. I think you talked about it. I know I have. You didn't have that problem. You were already pretty lean when you came in here.
Well, I mean, there's even still sometimes that you're just like, you have like a bad body image day and you come
Yeah.
in, you're like,
No,
oh God, everyone's
definitely.
looking at me, or, like, no.
But have you
nobody's looking
had,
at
I mean, other than your own mind,
Yeah.
have you encountered any kind of negativity
No,
or?
not at all. Not at all. Actually, quite the opposite. Every time I come in here, I feel like somebody is just like has an encouraging word, or it's just nice, like they just will say hi, or they'll, whatever. But no, I have not once in this gym felt any negativity from anyone.
That makes me very happy.
Yeah,
I'm,
no,
and
for
that
sure.
wasn't a loaded question. If you had, I wanted to hear about it.
Yeah.
Because we
Let
don't.
me name drop. Hold on.
Yeah,
No,
we
I'm just
don't, we don't play that, do we?
No.
Otto called me one night. Me and Julie were on vacation. I think it was when we were out of the country, even.
Yeah.
And
Or I think you asked how everything was going.
And some guy had come up to a girl and made a comment about her not working hard enough, and
said she looked big still.
Yeah.
She need to put more work in. When you guys were in Jamaica?
Yeah, Otto asked me,
Did
like,
you punch him? Because I
How-
totally would have.
how do I? She wasn't even going to say anything. She had told her dad, and her
Could
dad
never
had
be.
called, and
Lord.
anyway, we just. Otto's like, what do you want me to do? And I
Bye.
said, handle it, and he did. I mean, he pulled up on the guy. That makes it sound like
mean-
brace yourself, fool.
Anything's
No, he-
possible with
he
Otto.
just-
I still have his wallet today.
He just came up to him and kind of told him what was being said, and
Yeah.
and the guy denied saying it, right? But
Yeah.
and it doesn't really matter.
Right.
It was laid out to him that this is it. This is your one and only chance, and
Yeah. He hasn't
know,
came back since.
he hasn't been back
I'm
since.
surprised
So
he's
that's-
allowed back.
Yeah.
Like that.
well, I mean,
He got weird and was like trying to, like in his time of like denying it, like I just kind of let him know, like, bro, I'm not just like, no one paid me to do this to you. You know what I mean? Like I have no motive other than these people are calling me saying how they feel, and that's their perception. And so if their perception is that, like you could just come in and do your own thing, but obviously you're like venturing out to people who are some people come in here and they don't want to talk to us. You know what I mean? They just want to put their headphones on and figure out how to better themselves. And so,
You know, I've been a part of this gym for like 5 years, I think, maybe 4 or 5 years. And that's the first time I have ever heard of somebody doing something like that.
So does she still work out here?
I could never figure out who it was. And she
okay.
said she knew me and like wouldn't give me her name. And then her dad had called and was like, she wants to be anonymous. And it was before I knew like I was savvy with the cameras. And so like I didn't like know,
Yeah.
you know, but so I never went back. I just took her word for it. But the way, I mean, she just
It was
described,
legit.
yeah, she described her time slot when she came in and this and that. And I probably have seen her before, but I just,
I think Julie
was crushed.
knew
Yeah.
who
Yeah,
they
she
were or something. But we have had one other incident, and it led to an apology and a handshake. It was over a Snapchat. Those are the only 2 incidents I know of. So that makes me happy because we want to change the gym culture, that make everyone feel comfortable to be here and know that this is a safe place for them to come work out. So that makes me happy that you haven't encountered anything like that.
so I have a question. How many, so you go to both HIIT classes now?
Yeah.
It seems like religiously.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you doing any other than that? Or is that just a start for now?
No, I'm in here almost every day, whether I'm lifting or just walking on the treadmill. I try to come in every day, just because I know like to make it habitual. For me, it has to be that way. And like there was one Sunday I came in and I think I like did 3 curls and then walked on the treadmill for 5 minutes and left just because I was like having a really hard day and like so hard I couldn't like use that as motivation.
Yeah.
And so then I left, but then I was like, I got in there.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
I got up. I
It'll
went
help
there.
with your routine.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of how I felt. And then like I do the HIIT classes, but there's been a couple days where I've been in here twice just to have the time to myself.
Yeah.
And maybe that's selfish, but
No, not at all.
but
I was going to ask you, like, the only time that I've ever seen you in here is HIIT, but my schedule's been kind of wonky lately with like football and things like that. So, like, I just see you bring your kids in, so I didn't know that you came in without your kids. So that's good.
Yeah. So if I come in the evenings, I normally bring them just because I have to. But so my work schedule's actually changed recently, which has been really helpful because I'm like at work from 5 until noon. And then I have like a 3-hour time slot. And then I go back because I work at a daycare. So then I go back and work for school age. I take care of school age from 3 to 5 or 5:30. And so between noon and 3, I'm in here almost every day. Between noon and 3, unless I have like
Perfect. It's a
errands to
good
run.
slot.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It is a good slot. And
It's kind
really,
of busy at noon, but by 3,
yeah, no, and I'm usually out of here by 2 just so I can like go home and shower before I go back to work or whatever. But and I don't mind it being busy. It's never so busy that I can't like get the machine I want or get the, so I don't mind it at all. But yeah, so I'm usually in here around noon, and then there's been nights where I've like come in at 6 or 7 and walked on the treadmill or something just for that extra like time away. So
Yeah.
yeah.
You get your playlist going and stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, playlist, podcast. Sometimes like if I'm just on the treadmill, I'll like watch Desperate Housewives or something.
Yeah, I watch a lot of Hulu.
Me too. I do as well.
Desperate Housewives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
one great thing that I would say anyone should do when they're on the podcast or on the treadmill is listen to All Roads Lead to the Gym.
No, that's a good time
It
to do
actually
it.
is. It actually
Or just like plug it in as if you have to commute like I do to to work, just put it in.
Hey, and this is probably a good time to say too that I don't think we brought it up last episode, but we're now on Audible, Spotify, YouTube,
And
Apple
Amazon
Music.
Oh, you're on Apple?
I believe so.
Okay. I know you're on Amazon Music. I
Oh,
use
Amazon Music
for everything.
Yeah, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and a few others. So you can find us anywhere. All Roads Lead to the Gym. 11 episodes in now. Hopefully we'll have 1,100 someday, and people will actually listen and care.
Yeah.
But
I would like a sponsorship, free socks or something.
yeah, until then,
I'll buy
All
my own
those like
socks.
Nike Krispy Kreme donuts. Like
So
Yeah,
what's your favorite exercise in the gym?
Oh, I don't know. Probably leg press because it makes me feel really strong.
Yeah.
I can do a lot on that, even though it's probably not that much compared to other people. I feel like I can do a lot. It makes me feel strong.
don't compare yourself.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. It makes me feel strong.
Yeah.
So, my least favorite is deadlift. It tore up my hand yesterday.
I saw that you posted a picture of it, and I thought,
Yeah.
that's cool, man. Like that's like
That's
a rite
cool.
of
You're
passage.
gonna get some
No,
calluses.
that's a rite of passage. You start
Like,
lifting weights, and them
tore-
hands get tore up a
yeah.
little bit, and it,
All good.
you know. So my least favorite exercise of all times when I started working out was
Cardio.
lat pull downs. I don't count that as exercise, but lat
Whoa.
pull
That's
downs.
torture, not exercise.
hated lat pull downs, and I forced myself to do it because I wanted a big bench, and they say big back, big bench, and you really need to work on your lats. And now it's literally my favorite exercise.
Yeah.
On lat day, I'll do 200 reps of lats. I mean, I just can't get enough of the lat pull down now. So eventually, maybe if you keep pushing yourself to deadlift, it may become your favorite exercise.
Yeah, it may. And I like doing it because it does me. That one doesn't, like, if I can get it up, it makes me feel good. But I need to figure something out with my hands.
You just need to
My
get you some
grip.
straps.
Yeah, I need some, something.
So you have your routine. What's like to come from now? Like now you come here all the time. Like do you have a plan? And do you have a plan when you come in? Like you already know I'm going here and then I'm going there and then you know what I mean?
I probably should, but no. A lot of the time, like I'll just know like what I've trained recently, and then just train something else.
Yeah.
And like just like the other day, like Thursday, I literally trained shoulders, and then hit was
All shoulders.
I've done that before, yeah.
And
it's
I was
rough.
like, oh my goodness, I'm like I knew I should have skipped this afternoon, but then I was like, no, it's fine. But no, I probably should have a plan, but I don't. I just come in and I kind of just like I'm familiar with different workouts, and I know how to do a lot of them, and so I know like what works for me, and so I just do what I can while I have in the time frame that I have it. So
Yeah.
So yeah.
Do you concentrate on strength, or do you concentrate on the pump, the reps?
Strength for sure. Yeah. Yeah, and that's one thing that's been different from the past is I used to always only focus on like what can help me lose weight, you know, and now I'm like what can help me like be strong and confident, you know, and so that's been another thing that's been really helpful is not just like only focusing on losing weight. Like yes, I do, you know, I want to be healthy, I want to lose weight, but I don't only focus on that anymore.
So our best personal trainer, Devin Packett, when I say best, he's the busiest. That's how I qualify that. He said he loves it. His favorite goal for someone is when they say they want functional fitness.
Yeah.
And that seems to be kind of more what you're geared towards. I think that you're going to be a success based on your mindset.
Yeah.
Your mindset of not being, I have to be here to lose weight and I have to, you know, look a certain way or whatever. It's going to be more about everyday life, getting better at life because you're stronger in the areas that help you through navigate it. So what are your goals going forward? You haven't like short term, long term?
I don't have specific goals, no. And I think for me, like mentally, and this, it probably sounds crazy to a lot of people, but if I set a goal and I don't reach it, I'm more likely to give up. Than because like I know some people, like if they don't reach a goal, that motivates them to work harder. I just don't work that way. And so for me to set a goal, whether it be realistic or not, if I don't meet that goal, I'm more likely to give up. So I honestly just want to get better. That's it.
One day at a time.
Yeah.
I can respect
Yeah.
that for sure.
Yeah, and again, it works different for different
Yeah,
people.
sure.
Haley's over here checking shit off her list. I got that one. I got
Yeah.
that one. Like
Yeah,
that
A little
was
bit
her
of my
thing.
type A personality coming
Right.
out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you've brought people with you. You've already
Yeah, couple times.
in a short period of time, you've already brought other people to the gym with you.
Yeah.
Are we talking like new members or something?
Well, I don't know if they were members, but they've come to class.
Yeah, they came to hit one night. It's actually funny because one of my friends has gone here for a long time, and she did the weightlifting competition this last year.
Goins.
Yeah. I work with her at where I work, and I had actually invited her, and then she brought like 4 or 5 other girls that I know, and so I was like, oh, this is awesome. And then another girl that I used to work with, but I have her daughter at the daycare. She came with me she's come with me now, I think 3 times, 2 or 3 times.
The night that Nicole and all these other girls showed up, as you guys know, when you come to hit the first time, you kind of learn the exercises, and this is we go around. This is how you do
learn
this.
not to go full throttle at the.
Well, they came in. You'll remember this because I think
After
you
we
were.
started.
I think you were showing that. I think it was you. It might have been Sammy.
I think it
But
was
they
both
came
of us.
in late.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
not only did they missed. They came in late, but
And
they
then
missed. And
it was that one where you had us going like back and forth, and
Right.
like
Yeah, and
even
you're like-
that screws us up sometimes. And I can't imagine somebody coming in the first time, like
They-
just like walking in, like what in the hell is this?
they
Like,
could not have picked a worse night to
Yeah.
come, and they were like 5 minutes late, so they missed the whole tutorial deal.
Yeah.
It was just chaos, but we got
They
through
haven't
it.
been back.
Yeah.
I
told
invite
them,
them.
I told him like, just please come back. I promise it won't be like this again.
Well, it was just one of those nights where I just felt like there wasn't going to be. It just didn't feel like there was going to be a big class that night. It was the weather, and then all of a
Yeah.
sudden we were full.
Yeah.
And we were running back and forth. But I love it when new people show up. They will probably be back because I don't know of maybe 2-3 people in 4 years that have only come once.
Yeah.
I mean, people come for a while.
They may not come every night, but they'll come back like
Yeah.
every other week
Yeah.
or something like that.
And of course, it's not for everyone, but
I like that. I can relate to that. How you said you did shoulders and then went to hit. So
Yeah.
when I used to do hit when I first started here, I would pick whatever muscle group that I wanted to grow the most, and so I would go smash it out in here and then go do hit, and whatever muscle group that is, you already know.
Yeah.
After the next morning when you wake up, you're trashed. You're like, okay, it's like
Yeah.
fatiguing it before you go do the hit stuff.
Yeah.
So I can relate to that for sure.
Like Sunday's always legs for me, and then
Yeah.
like Monday night with hit with Chad is like
Rough.
always like
Yes.
the box jump and all. I'm like, my legs are like cemented to the ground at this point. Like they're not going to be jumping. I can't do it.
that was you. Was that you that came to me the other night when I was laying it out and said, "Oh yeah, you with all this jumping." That was you.
That was me. I hate
Because we had
jumping.
stairs and rope hop, and so I mean, I'm just telling anybody around Indy, around this area, Monday night, Thursday night hit workouts at 7 p.m. on the turf in the back. We do 20 stations, 1 minute on, 25 seconds rest. It's a free group exercise for all members. Doesn't cost anything. We're not instructors. We just set up some obstacles and let you go at your own pace and your own level through it. And, it seems to be a really good starting point for a lot of people. Haley was coming to that religiously before she kind of got into the weights a little harder, and it is a very good stepping off point for new members to kind of get their feet wet, understand some of the body movement, some of the exercises, get a little stronger before they start hitting the weights. And it's away from the weight room where the big scary guys are.
It's
So
just
you-
really hot back there right now.
Oh,
yeah, but if you wait just a couple months, it'll be really cold back there.
And then you'll be wearing like 4 pairs of pants and yeah.
I do want to say about hit. I think it's perfect for busy people because it's you come in, it's 30 minutes. I
Yeah.
feel like everybody can spare 30 minutes twice a week, and it's a good workout.
And
No,
you
I
will
agree.
Get after it for 30
Yeah,
minutes.
yeah,
Just take your time the first couple times you do it because you're going to feel like puking.
yeah.
I was getting ready to say, somebody said last week that they were going to throw up, and I said,
The door.
the door's right there, the trash can's right there. You're not going to be the first, and you certainly won't be the last.
I think it might have been my friend that said that.
Might have
I
been.
think it
I was
was.
like, yeah, so just go out there, get it done, come back in here, and get back in line. Let's go. It's not something that happens regularly. I don't want to scare people
No.
off, but it has happened. Generally, when it has happened, is it's a very new person, and they come back with this expectation that this ain't shit,
They just go full throttle at the
Yeah.
beginning, and
and yeah,
it's not. That's how good a class it is in 30 minutes. I mean,
Yeah.
you can make it whatever you want. Like you can do 5 reps of something, or you can do 25 in that minute. Like you can.
Yeah.
And we give I do a sticker for Hit Man and Hit Woman. Haley's Hit Woman stickers, I mean,
She bought a
Goals.
roll of stickers.
more than any. I don't know her and Geoff are kind of
Jeff, also known as Jeff.
also known as my name is Jeff. Kind of the poster boy and poster man and poster woman for Hit stickers.
I've also been back there since like it very first started
Yeah,
too. So
but it's not. So it's based on effort. And you got your first Hit
I
sticker.
did. Yeah, I got my first hit sticker on my 3rd class.
And,
So that was a
and
pretty
the
cool thing.
effort that it's based completely on effort, not skill. If it were based on skill, there'd be 2 or 3 people that won every week.
Yeah.
Back when we first started, we had some really athletic young dudes in there, high school guys and young college guys. And man, if it was based on skill, no one would ever beat them. But it's based on your effort. And so you get a sticker and you would be, we don't care about stickers.
We
Yeah,
do.
you do.
We do.
Yeah, you do. Everybody
I've
wants
never-
the sticker. Haley
I
says she
really
doesn't.
don't. But I mean, it's nice to like, hey, good job. Here's the sticker.
Your kids like stickers too. They want to win it every time.
They do, and then there was a time I think you gave Rhett a couple of them, and he took them home and put them on his wall in his bedroom.
Yeah, kids.
Yeah, so like, you know what? I guess whatever. The only sticker that's allowed on my wall.
Yeah.
So so right now you have your routine. Are you strong with the gym right now? Like you think this is gonna last a long time, or you see a fluctuating schedule? Or
No, I definitely think that I'm really confident and strong in my schedule now. In the beginning, I went really, really hard the first week, and then I got sick, and so I had to take like 2 or 3 days off. And like in the back of my mind, I was like, "Am I even gonna go back?"
yeah.
And it was literally like a week after I joined. I was like, "I don't even know if I'm gonna go back." And then I came back, and I was like, "Okay, I can do this." And
Yeah.
so yeah, I think I'm just in a different mindset than I've really ever been before. I'm getting older, more mature, and just have different priorities. And I think that making my physical health one is one of the top on my list. So
It's
I feel it.
for me too. Is I wouldn't have asked you to come on here if I didn't get this vibe that you're in this
Yeah.
for the long haul. I felt that. I think I told Haley that the first time she had ever met you. I was like, she reminds me a lot of the old Haley, and
You actually had walked up next to me during a HIIT workout. It was the first time that I had ever seen you in there. I'm like, I don't know who that girl is, but I am like super proud of her.
I think I told you that
yeah,
later.
he did. Yeah, he
was
came
like,
up
I
and
don't
he's like,
know.
Haley said she wanted to tell you she was proud, but didn't know if you'd think she was
Well,
weird.
yeah, I was like, I
She
mean,
is
no, I
weird.
wouldn't.
I am very weird, but that's besides the point.
And I agreed. Like you get after it. I mean, the future is bright if you just continue to
Yeah.
come. And
Yeah.
I think that you will, or I wouldn't have asked you to. I see something in you. I don't know you at all. I know my wife likes your bread that you make.
Yeah. She-
The cookies? You made the cookies?
I did.
Yeah, those
get
are
some
gas.
cookies?
Yeah.
I did. They were gas, bro.
So if someone wants to buy some sourdough
Yeah.
bread from you, how do they go about doing
Okay,
that?
shameless plug. So I have a Facebook page under it's Jonesteadin. So it's my married last name Jones, but it's like a play on homesteading because I used to like have chickens and do all that stuff. It may be having a name change soon just because the situation's changing, but right now it's Jonesteadin on Facebook. I also have I take orders via call or text, and I usually have business cards on the bulletin board out here. So
How long
Awesome.
have you been making sourdough stuff? Like it always floods my TikTok. And I'm like, oh my god, I want to do that.
Long
but then
enough for
I'm
it to
like,
be
I can't do
good.
it.
It was
So
good.
I made my own starter right at a year ago. And that took about a month and a half for it to be like ready to bake with, because you have to do the fermentation process and everything. And then I just kind of started making bread, but I didn't get like confident in making my bread until probably like late winter, early spring. And then once farmers market season came, I just kind of threw myself into it, and I just fell in love with it. And it's been really successful for what I'm like. The customer base I have has grown immensely, and just it's been really rewarding.
So something that I didn't know was if you have a gluten intolerance, that there's very little gluten in sourdough.
Yeah, so the gluten breaks down in the fermentation process. So like the longer fermented, also the lower like the gluten is. I don't know the exact like scientific terms, but there's also like really good bacteria in it that help your gut and stuff like that. So it's low glycemic index also, so it's not going to raise your blood sugar like a store-bought white bread would. So it's just a healthier option. It's still carbs, it's still bread, but it's a lot better
It probably
for you.
tastes a lot better too.
I think it does.
It looks cooler.
Yeah.
It looks
Right.
cool.
Do you like make the designs and stuff in it? Or?
Sometimes if I'm just making like a couple loaves, yes, I do like a nice little like score, which is like the cut with all of my loaves, but I don't do like the like pictures on one side and then the cut or whatever, because like when you're making 24 of them, you just don't really have the time for
Yeah.
that.
You're like, let's just get this done.
Right, exactly.
So we're not above bartering over here. So
Yeah.
Nakota had sent me a text message and said, "Hey, I would like a hoodie or a t-shirt.
t-shirt, yeah.
T-shirt. Would you trade that for a loaf of bread of sourdough?" And my wife was like, "Yes."
How many t-shirts you want?
Yes. And I was like, okay. I was kind of like clueless about the sourdough, and Julie has a gluten allergy. It's not severe, but she just doesn't do well with gluten. And she informed me all these things about gluten, how it was good for your digestion, and or not about gluten, about sourdough bread, and how it was low in gluten. And so now I am eating gluten bread if I eat bread, which not very often. In fact, I texted her before she came up here today, "Hey, if you have any bread, we would buy some." Because my daughter was here
Yeah.
from out of town. She's like, "I want some of that bread." So I'll have to get some and get
Yeah.
it for her.
You're gonna have
sure.
people texting you now. Hey, would you trade this for a loaf
I
of
know,
bread?
right? And honestly,
You're like, well, what do you got?
I was like, honestly, most of the time I would, because actually the second loaf, I don't know if Chad even knows this, but the second loaf of bread I traded for 2 tank tops. So,
No, I did not know that.
so Julie
Hell
was like,
yeah.
yeah, for sure. So
You
yeah,
just have to
always
find
willing
things
to trade.
around your house you don't need
Yeah.
anymore. Be like, hey, I
And
need some bread.
Start sending her
and I will
pictures.
say that when she brought the bread in the second time, Julie wasn't here, and she said, "Hey, I left that bread for Julie in the office. Don't forget to take it home so Otto don't eat it."
Yeah. You leave something here,
I mean, I think if you leave food on the counter for
5 seconds.
I was gonna say 2 minutes. At
Hey,
2
who brought-
minutes, he starts pacing and like.
He's like, who
going,
brought that?
everything that was on the table when we walked in, I had a piece of everything. I
yeah.
eat. I'm here the most. So
Well,
I'm like,
I was here all day today, and so my grandkids came in, and we carved pumpkins, and we had snacks and stuff. And Otto comes in, and it's all on the counter, and he's like, "What's all this stuff?"
I said, Jaybird, there's some meatballs on the table. She's like, yeah. And I was like, can I eat them? And she's like, yeah.
Yeah, so that's stuff that we have to clean up. So if you want to be a person like Otto and just eat all you want, come to the gym and work out for a little bit and look like a bodybuilder, then become a mesomorph. It's fun, I guess.
Yeah.
How does one become
Yeah.
that?
I think you're
Is that
just
a
born
pill?
that way.
How much does that cost?
Yeah. I take all my money.
If you could box that up and sell it,
Oh man.
bruh.
I think you can, but it's not legal.
I think you would be the richest person on earth if you could figure out a way to turn people into,
Change body types.
change their body type to the one. Because, I think you're an endomorph. I'm an endomorph. You're an endomorph. I don't know if you know that or not,
Yeah.
but you're an
Yeah, I
endomorph.
do. Trust me, I know.
A lot of people don't even know what those things are, but I think most endomorphs think, man, I'd really like to be an ecto.
Is that me? No, I'm.
You're the middle. You're the great
Yeah.
one, the best one. Like,
I don't know. Like I don't.
I'm the.
I'd love to eat, but I also like my curves. Like I don't want to be.
I'm curvy.
Well, you know what I mean. Like I don't want to be.
never mind. We've gone completely off track here. I'm sorry.
And it probably went way over my head, but whatever.
This is good.
Yeah, it's a good one.
I'm excited to see where you see what happens.
Me
Yeah.
too, and I'm also excited to see who else you can inspire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool to think that like I could possibly inspire somebody.
I don't know if you realize this, but you don't have to be behind you in their fitness goals to be inspired by you.
Yeah.
You
that's
inspire me. I know you've inspired Haley.
I mean, like when you see people in here consistent, you're like, gosh, man,
Yeah.
she can do it. What's
Yeah,
my excuse?
right.
Like,
No, you've already inspired people, and then I think coming on here and having the courage to sit here and say, hey, look, I came in here in really bad shape at a really bad point in my life, and I'm ready to change, and the people here are supportive, and
Yeah.
Someone's going to hear that. There's people who listen who want to come to the gym, and it sometimes takes a lot of courage to
it really does.
get in that car. I've had people tell me once they finally came in, and I can't remember who it was. It was a female lady. She came in and she said, this is the third time I've been here. And I was like, oh, you've been here before? She's like, no, I've never made it past the parking lot.
Wow.
Yeah, that's right.
That's hard to think that, because we don't think of this as anything other than our second home, right?
Yeah.
And so
I did my laundry here today.
and didn't
Wait,
hide
is
it. He
that an
sent me a
option?
snap. Yeah.
I worked out while doing my laundry.
He sent me a snap putting his clothes in the laundry back there. I was like, okay. So to think that there's people out there who are just so intimidated by coming into the gym that they sit in the parking lot until they eventually drive off, and it kind of breaks my heart, really.
Yeah, it really
Like,
does.
Everybody's got a story, and like David Goggins talks about when he goes and he talks about it in his book, and he talks about it in a podcast that he says, I worry that, because he used to weigh 300 pounds before he became this world famous Navy SEAL, ultra
Motivational.
marathoner, pull up record, setting all these world records. He was a 300-pound man, and he says he dreamed that he died and went to heaven as the 300-pound man, and when he got there, God pulled out all these pictures of him breaking the pull-up record and running these 100-mile races, 200-mile Moab race, 240-mile race, and he's like, that's not me. You got the wrong guy. That's not me. And God said, no, that's who you were supposed to be. And so those people that are sitting in that parking lot, or they're sitting at home and they want to come, what are they supposed to be? Because it's probably not where they're at is not what they're supposed to be doing. And so,
I mean, it's
Aren't you glad I put those there earlier?
thanks, Haley, for putting me some Kleenexes, because I cry every week. But this shit is deep to me, and it's
Yeah.
important, and it's in my heart. Like, I just want people to succeed, and I want everyone to feel joy from their accomplishments. And if you're too scared to approach your goals, then you're never going to reach them. You're never going. There's a couple sayings like the road to the journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step. And you said you had worried about the scale and 10 pounds not being very much when you had a lot
Yeah.
more to go.
Yeah.
But that's the journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step, and you are more than one step into your journey already.
Yeah, definitely.
So, very proud of you, and
It was
thank
nice
you.
to meet you.
Yeah. Thank you for coming here on short notice. Damn COVID years later is still messing up.
Striking.
our
Still coming
stuff.
around.
And so next week we hope to have Megan Brown on again with Matt Foreman. We'll see how she's feeling, if she's able to get in here, and Otto. And we're going to get deep on that one. We'll probably need a couple boxes of Kleenexes. The focus of that is going to be exercise and mental health. Megan is a very good therapist that I've known for many years. I've worked with her in law enforcement, and she is very good at her job, and she is going to lay down the law of how it all works, and hopefully, I mean, that's what I'm hoping for. So, anybody got any final words?
I just want to say how grateful I am for the positivity that I've received here, not just from like staff, but also just like members, like just being kind and just being willing to just say hi, and so I just am grateful that this is an environment that I feel comfortable coming every day, and I've never once felt like I shouldn't be here just because of somebody else. So I just want to say that you're doing a good job. You're doing a good job keeping it a good environment around here.
You could do your laundry here if you want to too.
Don't get that started.
Make yourself at home.
Listen, I have
do.
3 kids. We have way too much laundry. I would not put that on you guys.
Oh no, we're not going to do it.
Yeah, you gotta do it yourself. But
It probably wouldn't hold very much clothes.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I sleep
Be
here.
here all day
I
long.
sleep here sometimes too. You know what I mean? And they
Like,
pay me
while
for it.
he's on duty.
Yeah, they pay me for it.
It's
All
just a
right.
little power nap.
Yeah.
And Haley, I want to say thank you for coming in and filling
Yeah,
in.
no problem.
You are an inspiration to many, and you continue to do that. I know you've inspired me as well. I'm inspired by a lot of people in this gym, and
Me too.
I think we pull inspiration from a lot of different people in this gym, like little things that they do or how they act or lifting people
Yeah.
out there, like
how they
just-
carry themselves, and,
definitely.
Yeah, for a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
You just
Yeah.
you see something in somebody and you're just like,
and how
Yeah, like-
how they treat each other.
that helps you get through another
yeah,
day.
Yeah.
I love watching
For sure.
strangers spot each other.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. Like, hey,
Hey, man.
I don't know you, but could you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Make
got
sure
you.
I don't hurt myself.
Yeah, that's pretty. That can be dangerous, I think.
Like, is this total stranger gonna let me die?
All right. Well, I appreciate everybody, and I guess we will catch up with y'all next week.